Excuse me, Mr. DJ.
Hey, check this out. We got a great show coming your way.
From the ECSI Sports Studios, it's the Midday Market Report with Jeff Dawson.
Good afternoon, sports fans from all around the globe. I am your host, Jeff Dawson, East Coast Sports Investors, and this is your Midday Market Report, special report, UFC 279, as we wrap up our Vegas trip today. I will not be at T-Mobile. I think the prelims start here around 3 o'clock. Get the red eye back to Boston. But when it's UFC, when it's a big card, we got one guy and one guy only that blessed us and reached out and says, hey, Jeff, before you leave Vegas, let's talk. And a couple days ago, I was live on the air with Riley from Chicago, and I says, something's going on in the UFC. Dana kind of cut off a presser, and next thing you know, someone wasn't making weight. And sure enough, instead of canceling the main event, they just tweaked it a little. So the show goes on as Dana always does it, but don't take it from me. Take it from the expert himself, the one and only Mr. Zayd Hussein. Good. You're on mute.
Got you. How you doing today? In Vegas, huh?
Yeah, we got here on Sunday. It was 113. Yesterday cooled down to a nice 96. I think the high today's 88. I'm going to need a sweatshirt and a jacket.
Unbelievable. But great weather. Man, we got a great card coming, and this has been probably the craziest week in UFC history. I mean, many people have said, I've talked to reporters, I've talked to many different people inside the UFC team, and people have said it's just been straight chaos from the start. You mentioned the press conference to begin. Let's rewind to the press conference. So Kevin Holland and Khamzat Chimaev get into it backstage. Chaos, fighting, kicking, punching, everything goes down. Then Nate Diaz's team comes in backstage. They see Chimaev, water bottles get thrown. It's just absolute pandemonium in Vegas. And then Nate Diaz brings 52 people with him to the press conference. 52 different people. So you got over 100 people backstage. Dana White's trying to figure out what the hell's going on. Next thing you know, the press conference is canceled. Now you fast forward to weigh-in day. Chimaev comes in. He's supposed to hit 170 and a half at max 171. He comes in weighing 178 and a half, over 8 pounds missed weight. Then you have Daniel Rodriguez and Kevin Holland fighting at a catch weight of 179 to 180 pounds. They both weigh in 179, 180. Then you have Tony Ferguson making weight at 171. All around it came to Nate Diaz not wanting to fight Chimaev. Then you bring on Kevin Holland being the same weight as Chimaev. They say, okay, well, you two fought backstage. Let's just put you two together, and we're gonna have a big fight. That's it. That's UFC. They're so smart, and it kind of worked out great. There's people saying, hey, they might have even planned it how good it worked out, because you got a guy weighing 179, a guy weighing 178 and a half. You're going to just put them together, and the show goes on. And many different people wanted to see Nate Diaz versus Tony Ferguson in the first place because it's a better matchup for Diaz overall. They were feeding him to a straight killer. So now we look at it like, okay, the new matchup is Daniel Rodriguez versus Li Jingliang. You have Chimaev versus Holland, and you have Diaz versus Ferguson. So to start with the main event, we have Diaz opening at minus 155, now sitting at plus 105. So huge line movement there. He opened as a favorite, got bet down. I think the line is the market corrected itself, and I agree with it. I don't think Diaz should have opened as a favorite. I think this fight should sit at a pick'em, which it almost is now, with Diaz at plus 105 and Ferguson on the comeback at minus 125. Then you have Chimaev versus Holland, which Chimaev opened at minus 1,000 in some places, now sitting at minus 570 minus 570, minus 650, depending on the place you go to. Overall, I think the opener was more accurate with the Chimaev line at around minus 1,000. If I priced it, I would price it around minus 850. I think something very, very interesting in this fight is Chimaev by submission. FanDuel opened this line up at plus 280 last night. It is now sitting at plus 250. I think Chimaev by submission is the way to go. You look at all the factors coming into this fight. One, Kevin Holland is preparing for a striker, and Kevin Holland has zero wrestling. The grappling advantage for Chimaev is going to be huge coming into this fight, factoring in that he's not cutting the weight. He's coming in as a solid build, 180 pounds. He's going to come in strong. I think he's going to grapple heavy, and I think he's going to get a finish here early. I like 2 bets in that fight, and that's Chimaev by sub, right now sitting at plus 250 on FanDuel. And I like the fight to not start round 4 at minus 125. I think this fight overall is going to go 2-3 rounds max. The fight to not go the distance was at minus 260. I believe it's sitting at minus 280 now. This fight will not go the distance. Someone will get finished, and it will be Kevin Holland. And another thing to note in this fight, Chimaev inside the distance, opening at minus 155, now at minus 175. That's to win by knockout or submission. FanDuel has knockout boosted if you like to play the knockout at plus 380 from rounds 1, 2, and 3, which I think he will get it done then. There's lots of process.
Yeah, there is so much to process. Again, I'm not the expert when it comes to this. I always turn to you. Let's take an outside approach to the average person. I heard the word refund. So people that were flocking to T-Mobile, that were flocking to Vegas to see Chimaev versus Diaz, which is now not the main event. The question is not only for the books that have to refund all that early money, now they've recreated a new market, but from a perspective as someone that was going to go to the fight to see that main event, now to see Chimaev versus Holland in 48 hours or less than that, they got these two. So is it the buzz now gone? Is it a buzz kill, or is it just business as usual?
I think it's business as usual, and I think this is a fight that's more intriguing to me, honestly. Nate Diaz was being sent in, and he said it himself, to just build up this superstar in Khamzat Chimaev, a guy that's the UFC wants to build up. It's Nate Diaz's last fight. Hey, let's bring this guy in to kill Diaz, and his superstardom is going to shoot from here to here. And it backfired so much on the UFC due to Khamzat not making the weight. I think these matchups overall are better matchups. You got Diaz against Ferguson, which, Diaz we saw was plus 900 to plus 1,000 the last 2-3 weeks. And the books are probably like, wow, we had a lot of free money on Khamzat. Now it's all gone because 96 or 97% of the bets coming in were all on Nate. Nobody's laying minus 1,500 or minus 1,800 on Khamzat. But guess what? The books want you to take Nate at plus 900. They want you to come in, put $1,000 to win 9,000, think you got a big payout. And they were just going to scoop everybody. But now you got equaler matchups. You got Ferguson, you got Diaz, basically a pick 'em, and then you got Holland as a big underdog, but not as big as Nate Diaz.
I have to ask you, someone that doesn't make weight by 7 pounds, was it, a lot of people outside looking in will say he wasn't doing the work. But is it one of these things that he had no intention to make weight?
I 100% agree that he had zero intention to make weight. And I think he knew over a week ago that he wasn't going to make weight. The thing is with professional athletes, and people don't realize, especially with making weight, wrestlers, boxers, MMA fighters, all these guys know where they're at and where they're going to be at coming fight day. You have to be at a certain weight 3 or 4 days before the fight to know, hey, I'm on track to make weight and I'm going to make this weight. You're not going to come in the day of the fight and cut 20 pounds just like that of water weight. It's not going to happen. It's not anymore, at least, especially with the doctors stepping in, making sure you're doing it the right way. But overall, 7 to 8 pounds, even 3 and 4 pounds are huge, huge advantages in these fights. Like you look at Nate, he's right to not take the fight. It's a huge weight advantage. And Khamzat was just deceiving everybody by doing this.
All right, so you gave us some information on the Holland fight. Diaz and Ferguson, we had the flip. Did Vegas get the money that they wanted to come in on Ferguson? Or do you think Diaz is the right side? We all know it's his last fight. We know he's a warrior, a historic career. But which side is the right side in your eyes?
In my eyes, I think you have to back the Ferguson side, I mean, if you didn't get Ferguson early, it's a pass for me. But overall, I think Ferguson's side is the better side. I think he has more ways to win this fight. Diaz could outbox him, but overall, I think this is a fight where instead of looking at the side, you look at the total. Both of these fighters are aging fighters, losing lots of power in their hands. I mean, when's the last time Nate Diaz finished somebody? When's the last time Tony Ferguson finished somebody? I look at this fight and I see the fight to go the distance at minus 115, and that's the bet that sticks out to me the most. Both fighters have tremendous cardio. Both fighters are durable. I mean, Ferguson got finished, but anybody could get finished by that head kick, the most recent fight. I think overall you avoid the side, the line has moved too much, and you attack the total of the fight going the distance. I think neither fighter will get a finish here.
And in that third fight that was changed up, which side are you eyeing on that one?
So this fight is very, very intriguing to me. Li Jingliang weighed in at 170 and a half. He's supposed to fight at 170 to 171. And Daniel Rodriguez was fighting at that catchweight with Kevin Holland, so he came in at 179. Daniel Rodriguez is going to have a huge weight advantage of almost 9 pounds coming into this fight. And after he fills up and eats, he's going to have at least 20 pounds on Li coming into this fight. I think the weight advantage is going to be way too much for Li Jingliang. And it's a bad fight for him overall. Short notice, taking a fight against a heavier fighter. He drained himself to make the 170, and now he's fighting a guy that didn't even have to make weight. He's going to have a huge weight advantage here. I like Rodriguez at minus 155, and I think it's a good bet for a unit, maybe a unit and a half to win a unit.
Any prelims or anything on your that's caught your eye leading up to the main card?
I think overall there's a couple different prelim spots you can attack. Some that stick out to me the most being Kutalaba and Walker not fighting or not starting the third round. So Johnny Walker is a fighter that has been finished most recently. His last couple of fights, he's been knocked out. Very, very suspect chin. Kutalaba the same way. Both fighters are very, very fiery fighters. They're going to stand close. They're going to swing in the pocket, and they're going to exchange heavy blows. And I think one of these fighters will fall. I like the Johnny Walker side. He's an underdog. I think he's worth a look if you want to play an underdog in the prelims. Overall, I think Johnny Walker and Kutalaba does not go the distance, does not start the third round, and I think you should take that if you're looking for a prelim fight. But there's so many interchangeable parts here in this card, and the line swings because of the last-minute changes have just been wild. You got Ferguson here, you got Diaz here. The lines are just moving so much, and I think you have to capitalize on these three fights, especially with Daniel Rodriguez and Chimaev. So overall, if I had to place my best bets, I would say Chimaev by sub due to the huge grappling advantage. Then I would go Chimaev inside the distance at minus 155 if you could still get it. Then you go Daniel Rodriguez, and you go the fight goes the distance in the main event with Diaz and Ferguson. I think these are very, very good price lines that you could get advantage of, and you should take advantage of them.
Before I let you go, were you in a state of shock? Did you have Leon? How'd you see that fight going?
So that fight was a fight. I'm sitting down with my buddies. We're all playing poker. We're watching the fight. Before the fight started, I asked the guy to my left of me, I said, hey, would you take a bet on Leon Edwards for $5,000? And I asked him this. I said, I want $5K on Edwards. I thought Edwards had a shot. I thought the line was a little bit wide. I was wrong. Usman showed dominance throughout the whole fight, and he landed that head kick. It was a beautifully placed head kick. He sets it up beautiful with the left hand to hide it, throws the head kick up, and he just landed a great shot. I mean, I was in shock, but coming into the fight, there was a lot of sense of an upset. You know, Usman being reigning for so long, it's like, okay, eventually someone's going to have to beat him. I think he showed dominance throughout the whole fight, and I think coming into this rematch, he's going to show dominance and be heavily bet. And that's why if you see right now, he's like minus 350 in the rematch, opened up at some places. Overall, man, that fight was all Usman. He dominated the second round, dominated the third round, dominated the fourth round, and then the fifth round till that last minute. But that's why the sport is so great, because anything can happen.
You stole my thunder. So I'm watching this fight. I had Leon eking out the first round, and then Usman just threw him to the ground the second round, the third round, the fourth round. So I'm watching the 5th round, and I am not lying when I tell you this. With a minute and a half to go, I was shutting it off. It was done. It was over. For some reason, I stuck around, and I just was like, are you kidding me? I mean, he had to fight one. It was over, and all of a sudden, he got the kick in. I don't know who's in more shock, me or Leon.
And his name, Rocky Edwards, it was like a Rocky movie, I'll tell you that. It was unbelievable. It was truly a great finish for him. And man, when you just watch it over and over again, that head kick was just placed so beautifully. Like, that's knocking anybody out. It was nuts. It was insane.
Well, the scroll has been going the whole time. If you're not following Zayd, please do. You can follow him at Zayd_Hussein, at SportsGrid, at SportsGrid TV, at The Fansided. We can't thank you enough, and I can't thank you enough for reaching out. Anytime there's a card, anytime you eat, I don't care if it's just one play, 15 minutes, 5 minutes, an hour and 5 minutes. Don't be shy, please.
And some exciting news for everybody. I will be writing articles for props.com covering the NFL season. Take a look at it. If you're not doing anything, props.com, articles, TikToks, media, everything. I will be on there at props.com with Dave, Matt, all the boys that you guys know.
Thank you so much. Congratulations. Behave yourself. Cash some tickets, and we will see you soon. How's that?
Thank you.
The one and only Zayd Hussein. You got to follow him. Congrats to him. Props US, hanging out with Dave, Matt, and the crew there. Couldn't be prouder for him. And for everyone here, we had the breakfast bankroll. We got you through some college games. We got you set up for some NFL games. And then Zayd asked to come on. I love this kid to death. He is an up-and-coming star. He's already here. And when he talks UFC, we listen here. So for myself, Jeff Dawson at EC Sports Invest, from the one and only Mr. Zayd_Hussein, we wish everyone a blessed day. Cash a few tickets in the NCAF today, and then go over to the UFC and cash some more. We will see you tomorrow for the NFL.